let me start again. So previously we have talked about uh, the purpose of a guide to project management body of knowledge, and we said that it composes of generally recognized good practices about project management, and therefore the contribution from the people all over the globe has been, the commonalities has been found and agreed, and ultimately the good practices are chosen out of it and they are made part of the guide to project management body of knowledge. This is not a mandatory standard. You may or may not apply it. These are just the good practices, and they are optional for anyone. You can pick and choose. You can tailor it according to your needs. There is nothing, you can't blame it on PMI that my project did not succeed because I followed your guidelines. That cannot be done because this is just a guideline. This is a help provided to you, and some of the processes may suit you, some may not suit you. So whatever processes suit you, this is the responsibility of the project manager, his team, and naturally in collaboration with his team and the stakeholders, he should be able to choose which processes he needs to use. PMI has given 49 processes, um, identified these 49 processes for the project management. It is not necessary all of the 49 processes are used, or all the tools and techniques mentioned in each one of these tools are not necessarily to be used. You can tailor your project according to your requirement, and that's how the projects will be done. We'll talk about the tailoring for each one of the knowledge areas. As far as a project is concerned, what is a project? So this is a common definition which is now which is given by the PMBOK and which is now internationally renowned. The old definitions, which were lengthy and had a lot of load to carry, they were not representing the whole thing. This is the most economical definition which covers almost all the ground. So it says project is a temporary endeavor. What do you mean by temporary endeavor? Can someone like to clarify what is a temporary endeavor? You raise hands. Amreen. Ji Amreen.
Time bound. An
Time,
endeavor that
okay,
is time bound.
time out. So this is one aspect Amreen has given us, that this is something which is temporary in nature. This is time bound. But does it mean that a thing which starts on 1st of January and finishes on 31st of December, is it time bound? Ji Amreen?
1st of January and starts by the 1st of January and ends by the
On 31st of
31st of
December?
December. It is time bound,
Okay.
and
So,
it because it specifies the time,
yes,
and it is temporary in nature. It would finish eventually.
right. So the emphasis is not on a specific time, but it is on the temporariness of the time. It a project can start any time. If it starts any time, it must finish sometime.
Yes,
That is the
true.
philosophy behind it. This is not that it starts on a fixed date and finishes on a fixed date, though it is time bound, but does not mean that it has to be following this kind of a rigid rule that it must start on this date and must finish on this date. So, temporary endeavor, first of all, temporary, the word temporary alone, it means that the project will start sometime and will finish sometime. It cannot be ever started or ever finished. I mean, it cannot be continuous in nature. Project cannot be continuous in nature. That means if an endeavor, if an action is to be taken in a specific period of time, it must have an objective. It must be initiated at some point in time. It must take action, whatever it needs to do, do its endeavor, and ultimately either achieve or not achieve its target. But whatever the case is, it has to finish sometime. If a project is unable to achieve its target, it cannot go on forever. Still, it has to be cut off, it has to be completed, it has to be finished, it has to be declared finished. but the purpose of the project is to create something new, something unique. So temporary definitely is related to time, but I would also like to relate it to cost. Yes, of course. Asim, जी आसिफ, जी आसिफ बोलिए.
Gee, sir, so it's mean there must be an ending for a project.
Definitely,
Every,
project must have an end. Project cannot go on forever. Got it?
yeah, yes, sir, I got it.
A project must finish because it is just like a challenge. If you take up a challenge, give me an example. What challenge can you take up? I tell you to go and touch that wall. So you have taken the dare, you have taken the challenge. Now that is your mission, that is your objective. You have to run to that wall and touch it and come back, right? So as soon as you have accomplished this goal, your project will be finished. Your endeavor will be successful, declared successful, and the job will finish. But to finish this job, you must have started at some point in time. There must be a starting point to this challenge, and there must be an accomplishment of this challenge. So between these 2 points, the project is finished. Asim, is it okay?
Yes, sir,
Right.
it is okay now.
Okay. I have explained a bit about the endeavor, but I would like to take your cue on what do you think an endeavor is? What is an endeavor? Anyone who wants to comment on that? What is an endeavor? Faisal. Faisal.
So endeavor actually is efforts. You can call it action
Mm-hmm.
uh, to achieve some objective whatsoever. So
Okay.
endeavor is actually in meaning of actions and
Mm-hmm.
efforts.
Effort. I like the word effort. Effort is more like it. So, why are you trying to put in an effort for something? Why are you trying to put in an effort for something? What would be your answer?
So main reason for because without effort, anything, any work you want to do, you have to
Mhm.
put some effort in such challenge. So it's required
Challenge. Exactly. That is the word I was looking for. Challenge. You are accepting a challenge. You want to achieve certain result. You have certain objective in mind. You have accepted a challenge. And once you have accepted a challenge, how likely is it that you will succeed? Are you sure, 100% sure that you will succeed? Anyone who can answer that? जी सुफियान. सुफियान जी आप कुछ कह रहे थे.
जी सर, ये बिल्कुल सही बात है. इसमें कोई भी चीज़ जो है वो आपको इस चीज़ की 100% श्योरिटी नहीं होती कि आप जो एक्शन कर रहे हैं, जो भी प्रोजेक्ट आप स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं वो 100% सक्सेसफुल होगा.
हम्म.
टेम्परेरी एंडेवर्स ये चीज़ क्लियर हो जाती है कि जो भी चीज़ है वो जब जैसे कि आपने कल कोट की थी स्कूल के बारे में
जी जी.
कि स्कूल बिल्ड करना है, स्कूल बिल्ड करना है, वो एक प्रोजेक्ट है, स्कूल बिल्ड हो गया, प्रोजेक्ट अकम्प्लिश हो गया, लेकिन उसकी आउटकम के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि वो उसका जो एंडेवर था, जो हमने अचीवमेंट बनाई हासिल की है, उसके खातिर ख्वाह रिजल्ट्स भी निकले हैं या नहीं निकले. स्कूल वो चीज़ जो हमने बिल्डिंग बनाई थी वो डिलीवर भी कर रहा है या नहीं कर रहा. प्रोजेक्ट की सक्सेस सिर्फ इस पर डिपेंड नहीं करती कि आपने एक चीज़ बना ली, कंप्लीट कर ली, प्रोजेक्ट के आउटकम्स पे डिपेंड करती है. तो यहाँ पे जहाँ तक मेरी परसेप्शन वर्ड यूज किया गया है कि प्रोजेक्ट इज अ
Okay, Sufyan, I will like to differ from you. As far as the,
ओके.
I don't I don't have any objection that a project should have a outcome or it should realize certain benefits. Every project must realize some certain benefits, but certain benefits come in a long run. But what is the immediate output of my project, what I am giving out. As far as project is concerned, I am concerned only till the output or the product, service, or result. I am not responsible for whether the school will work or not. This is not within the domain of the project. My endeavor is to construct the school, and if I have successfully constructed the school and handed it over to the authorities, my job is done. My project is successful. Now, if the benefits are not being realized, there's somebody else's responsibility who thought of this initiative, who thought of this business case to construct this school. That is the person who is to be blamed for that. It is poor planning or poor conception from his end. It is not the problem of the project. That is my point.
बिल्कुल ठीक है सर, एग्री.
Okay, Ji Mohsin, you want to say something?
जी सर, एंडेवर का जो वर्ड है, जैसा पहले बात हो रही थी कि इट कुड बी अ ट्राई, एन अटेम्प्ट, अ वेंचर, और मतलब ट्राइंग हार्ड, एक्सर्ट वन सेल्फ, इस तरह से. बाकी जी बाकी वन हैज टू डू वंस utmost. बट वो जो आपने बात की कि वेदर इट इज मैंडेटरी कि जी प्रोजेक्ट सक्सेसफुल हो, इट इज नॉट मैंडेटरी एट ऑल. प्रोजेक्ट्स कैन cost go for the cost overrun or time overrun, इस तरीके से. बाकी जो बात हो रही थी टेम्परेरी कि इससे पहले कि टाइम बाउंड, आई थिंक इट्स नॉट ओनली द टाइम, इट इज ऑल्सो द स्कोप ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट एज वेल, जो कि मतलब हमें ये जो वर्ड टेम्परेरी है या रिसोर्सेज के हवाले से भी आप प्रोजेक्ट उसकी, जैसे हमने कहा कि जी टाइम बाउंड होता है, इसी तरह से रिसोर्सेज, यू डोंट हैव अनलिमिटेड रिसोर्सेज इन एनी प्रोजेक्ट.
बिल्कुल सही, बिल्कुल
और
सही.
जो स्कोप के एंगल से भी अगर देखा जाए तो इट कुड बी टेम्परेरी एज वेल.
Exactly.
स्कोप और
बिल्कुल, that is a very good point. So when we say temporary, जैसे पहले किसी ने जवाब दिया कि जी टेम्परेरी का मतलब जो है वो टाइम बाउंड होगा. टाइम बाउंड इज ओके, बट देयर आर अदर बाउंड आल्सो. कॉस्ट बाउंड भी है, स्कोप बाउंड भी है. सो वील टॉक इन डिटेल अबाउट कि वो क्या क्या चीजें हैं, लेकिन बुनियादी तौर पे दिस इज अ मिशन, दिस इज अ चैलेंज यू आर ट्राइंग टू अंडरटेक, एंड यू आर नॉट श्योर what will happen. There is a element of uncertainty in it because this is not a normal job. This is not something you keep doing daily. This is not something you are doing in your operations iteratively. So this is a challenge you have accepted for the first time, and you don't know what will be the result. You plan your best and you take on this endeavor, and this is a temporary effort. This is either going to end in a success or a failure. So whatever the result is, when the result is out, then this project will be declared complete, either successfully or unsuccessfully, but it will finish one day. So this is the temporary nature of the project. And temporary nature, as I just said and as mentioned by you, temporary nature does not only mean time bound, it means time, cost, and scope. All of these things we are bound by them, and we are undertaking an initiative, undertaking a mission to create something new. Now, whatever we are trying to create is unique in nature, no matter how many times a similar thing has been created before, but in the particular environment, I am doing it for the first time. If I am constructing a house uh, of the design which have been made by 100 people earlier, that can be a good lesson learned from me. But I am doing this thing for the very first time. This is a unique challenge I am creating. I am building my first house. No matter if the drawing is same, no matter if even the workmanship is same or whatever, but there is something different. I am different. The environment is different. The location is different. The weather is different. So there are a lot many things which are unique in it, and therefore it still remains a challenge for me because I am going to do it only for once. So the product of the project, the output or the deliverable of the project is going to be unique, and it could be not necessarily a tangible good. It could be an intangible thing. It could be a physical item I can check up, I can feel. But on the other hand, it could be a service. Like you see, I am teaching you this course. This is my small little project to train you in next 20 days. So I am providing a service to you. You may not have anything physical in your hand at the end of the day, but you are paying for it. You are, spending your time. You are investing your time and money into this endeavor, and I am giving you a kind of a service. This is also a deliverable. I am delivering something to you. I'm delivering a lecture to you. And similarly, if you hire a consultant, ask him to create a feasibility study for you, and he hands you over a two-page summary at the end of the day, and he has costed you 100,000 rupees for that. Somebody can say, just 2 pages for 100,000 rupees. How is it justified? But the basic thing is that the study concluded into the study was required to be done. It was a challenge, and he might have put in a lot of effort to reduce everything into that writing, into that result. He created a result by his effort, and the cost was for that. So, what I want to say here is that the output, the deliverable, which we are talking about, could be a product or a service or a result. Yes, sir.
सर इसके अंदर टेम्परेरी के ऊपर ज्यादा एम्फसाइज क्यों कर रहे हैं आप?
Because it will finish someday. It has to finish. It cannot go on forever. If it is
Okay.
an operation, that may never finish. If it is an operation, if you go to office daily, then this is the iterative thing. You keep doing it. There is no end to it until you leave the job. But if I tell you to visit me once in a while, for the very first time when you visit my house, that is going to be an endeavor. You will have to find the route. You will have to find that on the map or whatever, howsoever you will reach my place. So that is a temporary endeavor. But once you have done that, for the next time, it is now going to be part of your operations. You can anytime come to my place, and you will not have that kind of difficulty which you had for the first time. So doing anything for the first time is an endeavor.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, so everybody satisfied with the definition of the project? This is the shortest and simplest definition we can ever have. Although people can add many things onto it, but this encompasses everything. Anybody wants to say anything? Okay, I am moving ahead. Next thing, once we have understood what the project is, this is just a description of whatever I have already explained to you. It says the examples of unique product or service or result, or they could be a combination of all these things. You can read through it by yourself. It's not really important. Repetitive elements are maybe present in some project deliverables and activities. Can you give me an example of a repetitive item within a project? First of all, I have differentiated. I said operations are repetitive, projects are not repetitive by nature. Because operations, I repeat something daily in a routine, whereas project is a challenge and I do it for the very first time, and whatever I create, it is unique. But now I'm saying, are there any repetitive elements within a project? Anyone who can answer that? Ji Shahid. Ji Shahid.
Sir, my mic. Yeah, okay. So repetitive element could be in a single project, any a telco or IT project. You need to go for certain testing, like for UAT. So there is a certain set of activities, fixed certain set of activities, which needs to be performed on each milestone. So these are
Right.
the repetitive set of activities. You have to perform on each deliverables. The
Exactly.
best example is the testing, the QA, UAT, factory testing, these kind
Wonderful,
of things.
wonderful. You have encapsulated the spirit of that. Exactly, we do have certain small little repetitive actions going on within the project also, but that does not alter the characteristic, the unique characteristic of the project work itself. Project itself is going for a mission, is having an objective, and we are trying to accomplish that, and while we are accomplishing that, we could have small little iterative work going on, like if you have to construct a wall, the procedure of constructing the wall will remain the same as it was in the operations or anywhere else. But because we are doing it within this project, the ultimate result of this project will be created, the objective will be met, and we would be able to accomplish within certain target time. So this is there are elements of repetitiveness, like the example given by Asim, and we have also progress reporting going on, a lot many other things going on within the project. Administrative actions are going on within the project. So there are elements of repetition within a project. For example, office building can be constructed with the same and similar material and by the same or different people. So this is a kind of a repetition, but ultimately the big goal is the construction of that building, which is unique. So this is the presence of the repetitive element. Projects are undertaken to all organization at all organizational levels. A project can involve a single individual or a group. A very small project could be done by me alone, or maybe a small little group, you and me, two people can do a project. And a project can involve a single organizational unit or multiple organizational units from multiple organizations. It could be virtual teams, even multicultural environment could be there. So yes, of course, we can involve operational elements within the project. We can involve the whole departments within a project. That can be done. Temporary nature of the project indicates the definite beginning and end. I'm not saying the specific starting point and a specific ending point. No, definitely begin. The project will definitely begin at some time and will definitely finish at some time. Temporary does not necessarily mean the project has a short duration. It doesn't mean it has a short duration. It may be 5 years long. So I'm just saying it will start somewhere and it will finish sometime. Projects are temporary, but the deliverables may exist beyond the end of the project. This is what I was saying. This is the problem of the output and outcome we were discussing. We are concerned about the product, which is the output of the project. So this output, when I deliver it to someone, that may sustain itself while the project will be closed. The project will finish. Project is temporary. Once it has delivered its product, the project will go. But the product may survive. And while it is surviving and sustaining, that may yield certain benefits which were targeted outcomes of that project. So project's benefit may be yielded, may be realized even after the project has been completed and finished. So the outcome is after the output has been created. Project may produce may produce deliverables of a social, economic, material, and environmental nature. Like you see, you are creating something which is giving out, adding something to the nature. Maybe you are planting trees, and planting trees is the product. I have planted this much acres of land with trees, and ultimately the effect on nature, the environment, would be yielded maybe a couple of years later, that the weather of the area will change. So the project will ultimately be realizing its benefits at that stage. For example, a project to build a national monument will create a deliverable expected to last for centuries. So the deliverable we are creating, it is going to remain there, but the project is not going to remain there. Project is going to finish. Is reached. Now, how a project ends? Naturally, one option is that project meets its specific objectives. As soon as it meets its specific objectives and um the deliverable has been produced, the project can end. The objectives will not or cannot be met. Even then, when it is realized that project deliverable cannot be delivered or the objectives of the project cannot be met, this is impossible to do, then even then the project can be finished. Funding is exhausted or no longer available for allocation to the project. In that case also, if you run short of funding, Maybe the project is still viable, maybe the objectives are still there, but project may be cut short by lack of funding. The need for the project no longer exists. You see, the interesting part is, why do we do projects? Why do we need to do projects? What is really behind a project? It is not, projects are not done for fun. Projects, as I said, have certain objectives. But what if my project has got its own objective and it has a mind of its own, and it is not contributing anything to the organization, but because the project has its minds of its own, has its own objective, so let it fly. Should we and should we not? Ji, please raise hands. Anyone who wants to contribute to this? I said a project has its own objectives, and naturally project is working towards those objectives and trying to deliver that deliverable, the product. But what if it is not aligned with the organizational strategy? Ji Shahid sir.
Yeah, sir, I totally agree with what is stated here. Yes, you are working, a project manager is working for the betterment of the organization, but most of the, many times it happened that you fail to achieve what you planned earlier. And these are some of the items, all of a sudden, because of some disaster happened or anything happened, certain resources are not available, funds are not available, the viability of the product is not there. Could be many factors. So definitely that is one of the could be one of the reasons for the project failure. But obviously you cannot have it for a lifelong period.
Exactly.
So if any of the items met, that is definitely the end of the project.
Right, right. That is about the end of the project, and that is also about project's objectives cannot be met, then it can be closed. But my point was, if the project objectives are have a mind of their own and they are not contributing anything to the organization, should this project continue? Ji Shahid.
Sir, as long as, sir, what is the definition? It's a temporary endeavor and with certain deliverables. So objectives are one of the deliverables. So why you are having this project? Because of these deliverables or because of these objectives. So if
And
somehow, irrespective, those objectives are contributing towards the organization or not contributing towards the organization, that
okay,
is something which I can see operational in nature. But as long as those objectives are met, that is the closure of the project.
okay. Aliza, Amreen, and Faisal, please hold on. I have to complete this discussion first with Shahid. Shahid, you see, if whatever you do in an organization, that must be aligned with the purposes, mission, objective, and strategy of that organization,
Definitely, sir.
right? So if you are doing something in sitting in your office, you are doing your personal work, and you have got your personal project going on, that is not contributing to the organization, and probably if organization finds out, they will throw you out of the organization.
Yes,
Therefore,
sure.
this project of yours is not the project of the organization. That might be your personal project. So, projects do not have mind of their own. Projects have to be aligned with the organizational objectives. They have to be subordinate to the vision, mission, and objectives of the organization, and they must be aligned with the organizational strategy. Any project which is not aligned with the organizational strategy has no right to exist any further. Maybe a project, when conceived, was in alignment with the organizational strategy. Halfway through, organizational strategy changed and the need for project is no more. The project can be finished right there. Do you get my point?
Yes, totally agree, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Aliza, what are you saying, please? Ji, Aliza.
I had to say the same thing. कि when we are starting a project, it is for the sake of organization. Probably the organization needed change, जिस वजह से हमने project किया था. If the
Okay.
project is not contributing or is not in alignment with the organization, the project को करने का फिर फायदा नहीं है. So if the organization objective changes and they're not in alignment with the project, we need to cut out the project.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Amreen, what do you have your take?
So I totally agree with you. Any organization that takes any endeavor that is to serve the objectives of the organization, if it does not do so, it is a waste of time and energy and cost as well. So if the project does not serve the organization, it should not start. And if it has started, being aligned with the organizational policy in the first place, and if the policy changes, the structure changes, it may shut the project.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly the point, and I'm happy that all of you are in alignment with that. And there was one other person, Faisal, you wanted to say something?
Sir, I just want to say about the all research-related projects, which normally any of the organization starts, and if they want to continue that research or not, it's depend upon the organization. So if they don't want to continue that project, research project, they can terminate at any moment. But in the case of I'll quote example of the car models which are coming up 4 year Honda line. So they are doing the research and they are having time-bound activity. They are conducting this for designing new model and they are bringing the market. So
Right.
if they don't require, they cancel the project also. So this is what I want to say here.
Okay, you're right. You see, the primary thing is that everyone has commented on that. Primary thing is that whatever we are doing in the organization must be aligned with the organizational strategy. No matter it is, even if it is a R&D project, even that R&D project must be aligned with my organizational strategy. Though it is difficult to plan, we have got more uncertainty in our R&D project, and it may be more uncertain, but still, if that R&D project is no more needed by the organization, that can be closed down at any time. But because there is a need, for example, you want to create a medicine for a disease, and that takes about 5 to 7 or 15 years for that matter. That much time is taken for the patenting of a medicine, for creation of a medicine. So during that time, if an alternative medicine becomes available and the need for this product is no more, then probably we can finish this project. We can close this project prematurely. But at the same time, if it is the need is on, it may be taking a lot of time. Still, people are working on it, and project is valid. It is still serving the organizational purpose. So the next point was the need of the project no longer exists. So that means the strategic alignment of that project objective with the organizational objective is no more there. The project can be closed. Or the human or physical resources are no longer available. In Second World War, the countries were working very well and everything was going well. But suddenly, due to the Second World War, all the male population had to go to the war, and therefore all the projects and initiatives which were being carried out in those countries had to come to an end, had to be stopped immediately. So because the human and physical resources were no more available, or a project is terminated for some legal cause, maybe the court orders that this project cannot continue any further. So that could be a legal reason that may be against the organizational objectives, that may be harming our organization, but still this is the law. So if the law of the country that is supreme in front of the organization, that takes precedence over everything. So there can be a number of reasons. Either the project attains its objectives, it is ultimately after attaining its objectives, it is closed. The objectives cannot be met. It has been established that whatever thing, like a research project, we have tried our level best with so many options, and all the options fail, and we know that it is not going to attain the objective. We can still finish the project, close the project, and funding and human resource and all these reasons are there. So these are the various options where the project can be finished prematurely. Okay, the next thing is important. That is the project drives change. Asim, do you want to say something?
जी sir. Sir, for example, there is a project which is going on,
Right.
and in order to run the project,
Mm-hmm.
we required operation for this, like we required a compliance for the whole system,
Mm-hmm.
for example. So the system and the operation are the part of the project or not?
You see, operations are never part of the project, but as we said earlier, it may be some of the department could be brought into the project for specific purposes. Maybe there is a huge project like, we did the Nadra project. Nadra establishment was being done, and a whole of the registration department, whole of the operational department was brought under control of the project because it was going through the scrutiny of new process development, and once the new processes were developed, they were handed over to the registration department. It was introduced as a new department, which they call it, I don't know what they call it now, but that became the operations of the Nadra. So that can be done.
सर अगर कोई फॉर एग्जांपल कोई चेंजेस आती रहती हैं इकोनॉमी के अंदर सिस्टम के अंदर तो स्टिल प्रोजेक्ट इज ओपन और क्लोज्ड
Project, if it is within the preview of the project, all the changes within the project can keep coming and we can keep amending the project plan. But if the change
Okay.
is such that it is of the organizational nature and my project is not directly affected by that, then my project is not affected by the change itself until and unless the organization change its strategy and asks me to stop the project or to induct that change into my project.
Okay.
Wonderful. So projects drive change in organizations, and this is very interesting. And all of you must listen to this and understand this. I'll give you a small little story how a change in an organization comes into being. An organization can have need for change, the business need for change, coming from internal factors or external factors. Maybe your customer wants something new and you do not produce that new thing, and therefore you need to create that new thing, and that is a change in the organization. The working of the organization will change accordingly. So whatever you are producing right now, that is operation, that will continue while a project will be started to initiate the new process. And when this process is tried and tested and we are sure that it can deliver, then it will be inducted into the operation. So projects drive this change into the organization. Now, how internal changes can turn out to be projects ultimately. Let us say that your system is running smoothly, your operational system is running smoothly, and there is a small little problem or issue which arises in one of the machines. Although that issue must be resolved at the spot, but it cannot because the person responsible for that activity is not entitled or is not empowered enough to resolve that issue. So in that case, we have got a escalation path in organization. He will escalate the issue to the next higher level, and if he can resolve it, he will resolve it. Otherwise, he will also escalate it to the next higher level. There are two things here. Number one, the issue is not being handled properly. It is being delayed in processing. It is not being escalated when required, or the actions needed to be taken on that issue are not being taken by the requisite people. Then this issue can grow into a problem. Moreover, if you are doing everything all right and you are just passing it on to the next level, and next level is still not capable of handling it, it is passing it on to the next level, it automatically, as it moves up, it starts becoming a problem. So by the time it reaches the top level, it is a bona fide problem which needs to be resolved, and it is a problem of at the organizational level, because it could not have been corrected underneath at any level below. Therefore, this is the organizational problem. The strategic people sitting on top will realize this change. This is a business need to improve. When there is a problem, there is an opportunity to improve. So they will realize this opportunity, they will create a business need, and that would result in a change to be brought in the organization. And again, we will give birth to a project to test out that change, and when that is successful, that will again be inducted into the operations of the organization. For business perspective, a project is aimed at moving the organization from one state, its current state, the present state, to another state, which is the future state. So the objective of that project would be to move the organization to present state to the future state, and that is your specific objective. Before the project begins, the organization is commonly referred to as being in the current state, and the desired state, the result of the change driven by the project, is described as the future state. And this can be described through a diagram I'll be showing you. But PMI has so much been involved in projects driving the change that they had released a practice standard for that, managing change in organizations. This is why I say that projects are the change. Project are the change. Projects. Sorry, I'm not finding the words for that. Project is a change agent. Project brings the change into the organization. Although project itself is not change, has been created due to the need for change, but change can only be realized through the execution of projects. And once the project is successfully concluded, that change can be adopted in your operations. For some projects, this may involve creating a transition state where multiple steps are made along a continuum to achieve the future state. That is, phase by phase, step by step, you are moving towards your target. The successful completion of a project results in the organization moving to the future state and achieving the specific objective. So, if you want to learn more about it, then you must read the Managing Change in Organization, a Practice Guide. Look at this diagram. This diagram exactly shows on an axis, x-axis is time and y-axis is business value. Currently you are located at this point. This is your current location of time, and the current business value you are generating is like this. Now here you realize that you need to improve. This may be due to the business need. This business need might have risen internally or externally. I am not debating that. But somehow you realize that you had to be here. You have to change and you have to be here. So in a future time, you want to be at this spot in time. So this is the time you want the change to realize. And what is the business value you are gaining? You must be gaining some business value. That is a very important point. If this change is not adding anything to your business value, this change is useless. This change must add something to your business value, to your assets, to your knowledge, or whatever. Organization should improve due to this change. So the difference between the current state and the future state on the business value clearly shows that the future state is higher than the current state. So in this time frame, we want to achieve this much of business value, and this transition will take place through project by doing certain activities. Are you all with me? Please raise hands. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so if there are no questions, I'll move ahead. Right, project enable business value creation. I just mentioned business value. uh, just let us talk about business value. Can anyone tell me, can anyone help me out? What is a business value? Ji, please raise hands. What is a business value? Okay. Nobody wants to answer? Right. You see, what is the worth of your business right now in the market? That is your business value. If you sell off your business right away at this point in time, this is your worth. Do you want your worth to remain the same or increase in future? Naturally, we do not want to stay at the same place. We want to increase, we want to develop, we want to enhance. So I want my business worth to increase. So my business value must increase. So whenever project brings change, this change adds to the value creation of the business. The value of the business is developed. And that is exactly why we need to associate ourselves with the discipline of business analysis here. Business analysis plays a very close role with the project. I have just proven to you that project brings change and adds value to the business. And therefore, there is a business interest. There is a business analyst interest in the project. And before the project can even take birth, business analyst is a person who coins with the idea of business need, business value, change, and all that. And ultimately, when he creates a business case for a business change, only then a project takes birth. PMI defines business value as the net quantifiable benefit derived from a business endeavor. The benefit may be tangible, intangible, or both. In business analysis, business value is considered the return. So, business value must be generated in the form of elements such as time, money, goods, or even intangibles in turn for something exchanged. So, if you want to learn more about business value and business analysis, you can always refer to a PMI guide to business analysis or business analysis for practitioners. Okay, business value in projects refers to the benefit that the result of the specific project provide to its stakeholders. So this is the benefit you are providing. And as I said before, this benefit coming out of the project may not always be tangible. It could be intangible also. It could be both. Examples of a tangible element could be the monetary assets. The value of your organization monetarily is increased. Your stock holding increases. Your utility increases. Your fixtures, your tools, your market share, etc. The intangible benefits could be you gain goodwill, brand is recognized, public benefit, trademarks, strategic alignment, art reputation. Okay, I'm sorry, there was some gap in communication. Okay, everybody can listen to me now. I think some people have dropped down. Okay, Ji, Mohsin, you wanted to say something?
No, sir, I just wanted to tell that
Okay, okay. Okay, so I think I should continue. If everybody can listen to me. I was talking about the project initiation contact. How and when a project should be initiated. Naturally, we just talked about that there has to be a change to be brought in the organization to add to the business value. It is for the good of the organization. So that makes my case that there is an organizational objective behind the project, and the project objective must always remain aligned with the organizational mission or objective. So, if there is a need for change and organization has vetted that change, so the project could be initiated. And what is the context for project initiation? Organizational leaders initiate projects in response to factors acting upon their organization. There are four fundamental categories: meet the regulatory, legal, or social requirement. Maybe, the new regulation has come up, and that requires you to update your way of working. So maybe the new regulation has to be implemented, and organization has to bring in certain changes so a project can be initiated. Maybe the stakeholder or the customer, they request a change, or their needs have changed, so therefore the organization may have to bring this change, or implement or change business or technological strategies. If the organization itself has changed its strategies and its direction, that may also tantamount to bringing change to the organization through projects. And last but not the least is create, improve, or fix product, processes, or services. That is the internal problem. That internally the way of working, the operations we have needs to be enhanced or improved or continuously improved. Therefore, we may initiate a project for this kind of improvement. So this diagram also portrays exactly the same which I was just describing. There are four different reasons why a project should be initiated: to meet some regulatory requirement, to satisfy the stakeholder need or request, to create, improve, or fix any product existing in the organization, or to implement or change business or technology strategies. So it could be from top down, it could be from bottom up, it could be from outside, it could be from legal issues or something like that. So the higher authority could have mandated that your organization should be able to do certain things. These factors influence an organization's ongoing operations and business strategies. Leaders respond to these factors in order to keep the organization viable. Projects provide the organizations to successfully make the changes necessary to deal with these factors. These factors ultimately should link to the strategic objectives of the organization and the business value for each project. You see, they are two different things. One is the strategic objective of the organization, other is the business value. They are not the same thing. So there might be certain strategic objective, and my project might be linked to it, but my project is not going to be adding any business value. So this makes a case for business need. The business analyst has to review why this project is not adding any value to the business, though it is aligned with the strategic objective. So that means we may have to tailor the project accordingly, as if it can also generate value, the business value for the organization. Next is the definition of the project management. Naturally, this is not that difficult. When we understand what the project is, we know it is a temporary endeavor and we are doing it to meet certain objectives, to create some deliverable, which is product, service, or result. And naturally, the way to do it is project management. But this is a bit deeper than that. Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to the project activities to meet the project requirement. Let me explain one by one. First of all, let us see these four things: knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques. So, project management is the application of these four things. So, what is the knowledge are we talking about? This is the project management knowledge, project management skills and tools and techniques. So we are not talking about any other type of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques. This is all about project management. If you are a project manager, do you hold some knowledge or degree regarding project management? Have you ever learned project management in your life? If not, then probably you might not be the right person to handle this project. And the irony is that people who are at the helm of affairs, who are sitting as project managers, they do not have formal project management training or knowledge at all. Most of the people I am saying. For example, normally it is considered that an engineer is a project manager. Just because of the technical nature of his job, he automatically becomes a project manager. But when you go down to the engineering universities and ask them if they are taught any project management, you will be amazed to know that there is absolutely zero project management taught to the engineers, which are de facto project managers, right? I'm not talking about these days. These days, from last couple of years, project management has been very famous, and a lot many organizations and universities have started teaching it as a subject. But still, universities like UET and others, still they do not teach project management as a discipline. Still, they are adamant that their technical knowledge is enough to manage any kind of project. Although there is a degree in engineering management, and a subject of project management is taught there in master's class, but practically project management has not been given due importance as if the knowledge can be uh, transferred to the people. So the very first thing to do to be a project manager or to manage a project, you must have proper knowledge about it. With half knowledge, with incomplete knowledge, you probably are not authorized or you are not capable of managing the project. Number one, that is the knowledge part of it. Second is your skills or your experience. How experienced are you in managing projects? No, we will find a lot many people with a lot of experience in project management, but again, that experience with zero knowledge will be greatly doubtful. Why? We know there are many people who are very successful in managing projects or doing many other things, but uh, they have reached at that level of experience by hit and try. If they had knowledge, they could have attained that level within a couple of years, which they did in 30 years now. You understand my point? Because when you are taught knowledge, you are taught all dimensions of that knowledge, though you may or may not use all of them, but still you have access to all that knowledge. And when you start experiencing, then you are reminded of what you have studied, and ultimately you start applying your knowledge here and gaining skills faster than others. So this is a better way of doing it, that you have knowledge and a little bit of skill that is equivalent to no knowledge and 30 years of skill. Moreover, you have the knowledge, you have the skills, but the job you are doing, you do not have the requisite tools and techniques to do your work, then your knowledge and skill is all useless. If you are a carpenter and you have knowledge about carpentry, you have experience about carpentry, but you do not have your tools and techniques, then probably you are useless. So if a project manager with armed with skills and knowledge, if he does not have his specific tools, he cannot perform. Let me take more realistic example of a carpenter. Carpenter has got a knowledge, he has gone through a training of say 6 months, and then he had experience of working as a carpenter for 3 years. And when I ask him to make a table for me, he is unable to do it because he did not have the tools, right? So tools are also required for him to make the table. But if he doesn't have the tools, for example, I am the person asking him to make this table. So if I can give my tools to him, can he do his job? Anyone who can respond to me. I do have a set of all the carpentry tools with me, and I ask this carpenter to make this table for me and use my tools. Did anyone raise hand? Ji Aliza. Aliza.
That so here you're trying to say that even if the tools are there,
Right.
does the carpenter know the technique to use that tools?
Exactly. Exactly. That is my point. The tools which I am handing him over might be different from his own tools, and he may not have uh, the technique to use it. Like, you go to somebody's house and there is the television, and you are unable to operate it just because this is a different kind of television. So until and unless you get familiarized with the technique of operating the television, you can't. So therefore, uh, the saw this carpenter has been using, that has been, tuned to his hand. But the saw which he has been handed over by this person is new, and he is having difficulty cutting wood, right? He may be able to gain confidence in that, gain the technique to use that saw in a couple of minutes or hours, but ultimately, immediately he has a problem. So he has knowledge, he has skills, he has tools, but he needs to have techniques also. Newsman.
Sir,
Newsman, फिर बोलिएगा.
sir, basically the carpenter experience, domain experience, he can make the table other which you have provided to him.
You mean to say, if he doesn't have tools, can he make the table?
No, sir, I'm saying that if you give tools, your tools,
Yeah.
the domain experience, knowledge of how to use the tools. If he doesn't have the knowledge, so he cannot make the table.
Right, that is okay. But the problem is the tools I have given him are different. He never have used that tool. Maybe I have given him a chainsaw, which he has never used. So he cannot
Right,
use
sir.
the chainsaw in the same way as normal saw is used. Therefore, he must learn the technique to use that, and then he can perform
Sir.
uh, proficiently.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Okay.
So these are the four things which a project manager needs to have. Project management knowledge, which uh, normally people do not have. So this is important, that when you put someone in charge of a project, he must be provided with the sufficient knowledge in project management. He must have skills. No, I can make a little bit of allowance. You are coming to me with an experience of 5-10 years, and you, though you did not have any project management experience, but you have been managing projects, so I can make you attend a course on project management to learn the basics of project management, and then you will be able to relate your 10 to 15 years experience to that knowledge, and you can align your skills to that if you are flexible. Those who are not flexible, they will fight with the knowledge. Those who are flexible and intelligent, they will tune up with this knowledge, and ultimately they will improve. And now is the time that you need to have the tools and techniques of the project management. Can someone tell me what are the tools of project management? Ji Shahid.
Sir, there could be many tools like PERT chart, WBS, a logic network, Gantt chart.
Okay.
Uh, yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful.
I mean, and then you have some external tools like Trello or Pivot Tracker.
Hmm.
So many tools can be injected in any
Exactly.
of the project. Depends on the project manager. Yeah,
Okay, and if you are using that Trello or something, do you need to learn the technique for that also?
definitely, sir.
Definitely. So, give them the tools and teach them how to use them. This is a technique. They must know the technique. Only then they will be able to benefit from it. Ji Usman,
Yes.
you were saying something, Usman?
No, sir.
Okay, I saw someone else have raised a hand and then it was put down. Anyone else who wants to say something? मोहसिन जी मोहसिन आपने कुछ कहना था?
जी सर, मैं इन्हीं को जो मैंने बात की टूल्स की, जब आपने पूछा था तो मतलब आई वाज ट्राइंग टू से कि जी लॉजिक नेटवर्क डायग्राम्स हो गई, बर्ड चार्ट हो गए, गैंट चार्ट,
बिल्कुल
ब्लड ब्रेकडाउन स्ट्रक्चर्स हो गए, इस
बिल्कुल
तरह के टूल्स अवेलेबल हैं। और जिस तरह से पहले बात हुई कि असाना है, कैजुअल है, बेस कैंप है, इस तरह के एक्सटर्नल टूल्स भी अवेलेबल हैं
बिल्कुल
which
exactly. So you understand what are the tools. So that makes my life easier. Um, but I'm with Shahid on that. That even the tools which are not electronic in nature, they are also tools. A paper is a tool. You know, a SWOT analysis you do on a page of paper, that is a tool. The WBS you make on a chart, that is a tool. So all of these are tools, and a project manager must be proficient within these tools. So after having understood what the knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques are, the important thing here is you should apply the project management knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques only to the project activities and only for the purpose of meeting the project requirements. That is a very, very important lesson here. And this points towards something which is called scope. You should not be doing anything which is out of scope of the project. Only do that work which is in scope. So, only the project activities which are necessary to be done to meet the project requirements, which are contributing, which are these are the activities which are contributing towards the development of the project product, fulfill the project requirements. Anything you do which is not contributing towards the project deliverable or fulfilling the project requirements, that is not a project activity, and therefore the project management knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques should not be used on out of scope activities. That is the lesson, that is the message coming out of this definition. Are you with me on that? That is a very important point I have made, and I hope you all understand that. Only that work which is required to be done for meeting the project requirements is the project work, and only on those activities, on those work, you can apply this project management knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques. This is called project management. Let me read this definition again to you. Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. And that is very, very specific. Okay. So this project management is accomplished through appropriate application and integration of project management processes identified for the project. And these processes, as I was mentioning to you earlier, there are 49 processes identified by PMI as good practice processes, and these processes are not mandatory, but if you use them, you will definitely be benefited out of them. They are good processes. They are supposed to contribute towards your project success. But naturally, the decision is yours. The project management, along with his team and the stakeholders, would decide which processes he wants to use. Project management enables organizations to execute projects effectively and efficiently. So, if you do project management in the proper way, then you will be able to perform even better. You see, those project managers who did not have any knowledge about project management and they had been running projects for last 30 years, so I don't say they were not able to do the project. They were able to do the project. But what is the criteria definition of success for them? Whatever they have done is considered as success for them. They do not consider, they do not understand the job they have done could have been done more effectively and more efficiently. but they had been doing it and they had been calling it success in whatever way they are doing it, and that is what the project management of their time is. So the times have changed. Now we are going towards more effectiveness and efficiency. Can someone tell me what is the difference between effectiveness and efficiency? Effectiveness and efficiency. Please raise hands. Effectively and efficiently. Do anyone? Ji Shayad.
Sir, again, effectively and efficiently means that you have delivered certain objectives smartly within your time domain, utilizing all of the tools in a best and efficient manner.
Mhm.
Basically, it's a smart approach.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Mohsin?
Sir, being effective is all about doing the right things, while being
Okay.
efficient is about right.
Doing the things right. Right. Okay. Amreen?
Hello.
Ji, ji, Amreen, बोलिए.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would call efficiency to perform something in the best possible manner with the least waste of time and effort,
Exactly.
or whereas the effectiveness is uh, to accomplish a purpose or a task with the expected, like in the best expected result, with the
Mm-hmm.
best expected result, or
Okay.
adequately used.
Right, right. Okay. If you can accomplish what has been given to you in whatever time has been given to you, you have been effective. You have effectively completed your work. But have you done it efficiently also? Efficiency is different. Efficiency is being economical with time and cost. If you were given 10 days to do this job and you did this job in 10 days, you have been effective. But if you could do it in less than 10 days and less than the money what would have been assigned to you, then you would be efficient. So we don't not only want to be effective, we also want to be efficient. Therefore, that is something important. Um, Although we keep using these two terms repeatedly, but people still work on only the effectiveness, and efficiency is just in the books. People do not try to be efficient because whatever time has been allocated to them, they think that that time has to be used. Okay, next. Effective project management helps individuals, groups, and public and private organizations to meet business objectives. So I'm talking about effective. Effective means, as I said, whatever was supposed to be done, you have done it. So effective project management meets the business objective. All right, satisfy the stakeholder expectations, be more predictable. Naturally, we planned and we did it. Increase chances of success, deliver the right product at the right time, resolve the problems and issues, respond to risk in a timely manner, optimize the use of organizational resources, identify, recover or terminate failing projects, manage constraints, balance the influence of constraints, and manage changes in a better manner. This is all the effectiveness. And efficiency is a notch up. Efficiency is even better than effectiveness. You want to be effective, yes, of course, that is my basic target to be effective. But I want if you can economize on that, if you can save time, money, or other things, then it is being efficient. Poorly managed projects or the absence of project management may result in missed deadlines, cost overruns, poor quality, rework, uncontrolled expansion of the project, which is called scope creep, loss of reputation, unsatisfied stakeholders, and failure of achieving the objective. And if you can uh, read through these things closely, you will find what is happening to our projects normally. We miss deadlines. We are normally we are in the cost overrun. Quality is poor. We do the rework, and still we call our projects a success. What is the definition of success? We have all these mistakes in our projects, and still we claim that we have done successful projects. That is not the definition of success. We are actually not being effective even. Efficiency is something different. We are not being effective if we are having these problems. So I don't understand why people claim to be experienced project managers with all these flaws and still they claim success. Projects are a key way to create value and benefit in organization. In today's business environment, organizational leaders need to be able to manage with tighter budgets, shorter timelines, scarcity of resources, and rapidly changing technology. This is the problem of today, especially rapidly changing technology, because tighter budgets, shorter timelines, and scarcity of resources had always been there. But rapidly changing technology is today's problem. In mobile companies, you might have seen that they are fighting against time to release their next version, next model into the market, and just due to the race they are in, they the speed of development has gone much higher. So that also points out to another dimension, and that is we have the capability of producing much more than what we imagine. Just when the challenges come, it is proven that we can do even more. That means more efficiency is possible. We think we are efficient, but we can be even more efficient. We can economize, we can rapidly, in a rapidly changing environment, we can do wonders. The business environment is dynamic with an accelerating rate of change. So rate of change is also accelerating day by day. To remain competitive in the world economy, companies are embracing project management to consistently deliver business value. That is the slogan of PMI. They once, back in 2005, they created this vision that companies will embrace project management to consistently deliver business value, and today that is being accomplished. In 2019, they are saying the companies are embracing project management to consistently deliver business value. Effective and efficient project management should be considered a strategic competency within organizations. It enables organizations to tie project results to business goals, compete more effectively in their markets, sustain the organization, and respond to the impact of business environment change on projects by appropriately adjusting project management plans. So this is the flexibility we are talking about, and this flexibility has even grown further into an agile environment. We will be talking about agile also later. Now, let us talk about the relationship of projects, programs, and portfolios, and even the operations management. So, I have already talked a bit about the project and program, so you might have an idea. Then you have to bring a change into an organization. An initiative has to be taken in shape of a project through which you bring that change. But we consider project to be the only carrier of change, but that is not the truth. If you look deeply into the dynamics of the project, a project can be a small project, project can be a simple project, can be a complex project, it can be a very large project, it can be a mega project. So how do you differentiate between these all types of projects? So until and unless a project is focused on delivering its output or deliverable, that remains a project. I am not saying that the projects are not there to create outcome or benefits. Realization is always there from every project. But what I mean to say is the project is focused on delivering the deliverable, which will ultimately be yielding the benefit or the outcome. But from the perspective of the project manager, as soon as the deliverable is accepted, the project has done its job. Now it is someone else's job to monitor the benefits and the outcome. That is the basic story. But if the project is large, huge, is a mega project or something like that, then it will be consisting of a number of sub projects, several sub projects, and managing them could be very complex. But if this big mega project is still targeting at the product and not the outcome or the benefit, then it will always be called as a project, no matter how big this project goes out to be. But uh, when it grows into an entity which does not care about the product, but it is focused solely on the benefit realization or the outcome, this is what we are talking about is a program. A program does not focus on a deliverable, although the projects within a program may deliver products, but those products will yield benefits which will be the responsibility of the program here. Projects will not be responsible for the benefit realization of their products, but the program under which these projects are being run, program will take on the responsibility of not only realizing the benefits of those projects, but unifying those benefits into a whole overall benefit of the program. The program benefit would be yielded by entangling and uh, uh, combining all the benefits of all the projects into a wholesome objective. So programs have their own strategy. Programs are not told to construct a school. They are constructed to spread education, spread literacy. So how do they spread literacy? This is their strategy, that they construct a school or a university or many schools and many universities or whatever initiatives the program takes to increase the level of literacy, that would be the program. And those initiatives within a program would be its projects. A school will be constructed, a university will be constructed, and this and that. All of these things would ultimately be contributing towards the increase in literacy, and the level of increase of literacy which was desired by the program, which was the objective of the program, when it is achieved, maybe down the road after 15-20 years, the program objectives will be met. So a project could be a standalone project which could directly be answerable to the organization, or it could be part of a program. A program is made up of a number of projects. But as I said, a project could exist alone. A standalone project could also exist, which is not part of any program. But in that case, these the the product of the project will be handed over to the organization, and the responsibility of realizing the benefit out of it or outcome out of it would be of the organization. Project will not be responsible for that. If this project is part of a program, then program takes on the responsibility not only of this project but all other related projects. All the projects within a program are related and intercoordinated, and they all are contributing towards achieving the program strategy. If it is to increase the literacy level of a specific region from level X to level Y, then all the projects within that program will be designed in such a way that they will be contributing ultimately to that benefit. So program will take on the responsibility of ultimate benefit realization, and the strategy which was assigned to the program would be fulfilled. So this is the program. Next is the portfolio. Portfolio, simply put, all the projects and programs, meaning what? All the change related initiatives in an organization. These are projects or programs. So all the projects and programs currently running in your organization represent the project portfolio of your organization. All the projects and programs I mean, when I say projects, I mean stand-alone projects, or the standalone projects and programs, because the programs will have its own projects and that is responsible for that. So portfolio will just look at the programs and the standalone project. All the standalone projects and programs in the organization currently running comprise of the organizational project portfolio. Now this portfolio, whether there is a management mechanism available for the portfolio or not, the portfolio does exist, whether you recognize it or you don't. But if your organization has got a number of projects or programs running, then it is the portfolio of the organization. There is a need for properly managing the portfolio. Portfolio will decide the fate of the projects and programs from the point of view of assigning the priority and resources to the projects and programs. So overall funding for the projects and programs will be decided by the portfolio. Portfolio will have the budget for all the projects and programs, and it will decide which project or program should continue and which should be closed down just because of the financial constraints. So this is a brief description about the project, program, and portfolio. A program is defined as a group of related projects. All the projects within a program are interrelated with each other, and this could also contain certain other elements which could, which could have been there to ensure that the result of the project, the product of the projects within the program, are then taken care of, because the benefit realization has to occur. So there has to be some operational activity which is called the program activity, which will actually be taking care of the product of the projects and taking it on. If a project was to construct a school, then running that school would be the responsibility of the program activities. And then construction of a university and running that university would be the job of the program activity. So these projects, sub-programs or program activities put together, these are called the various components of the program. So what are the components of the program? Different projects within a program. Then there could be sub-programs within a program, which could further have some projects, and there could be some glue which is joining it all together, which are the program activities which are taking care of the output or the deliverable of various projects. And then program activities are also responsible for unifying the benefit realization into the overall benefit of the program. This is also program activities responsibility. So you can call it a kind of operation within the program, which is constantly looking after the output of the projects and converting it into ultimately the benefit. And this is managed in a coordinated manner to obtain benefits not available from managing them individually. You see, if there are 10 projects in a program and all of those 10 projects could have been done in a standalone manner, they could have yielded some output and they could have had their own benefit, but those benefits could never have been unified if they were standalone. Whomsoever was responsible, I'm not saying the project manager was responsible, all the 10 project managers had delivered the products, and someone else is responsible for realizing those benefits separately. So those benefits will be realized, but they could not be unified. Just because these projects are part of our program, the program takes on the responsibility of not only realizing the benefits of the projects, but to unifying their benefits into the whole program objective. Some people think that programs are large projects, like I said, mega project or large project or huge project. So just the size of project does not mean that it makes it a program. A large project does not become a program, because I said until and unless a project is focused on delivering a deliverable. You see, constructing a house is a deliverable. Constructing a colony is also a deliverable. Colony could be a mega project, but colony, until and unless it is only focused on creating the colony, constructing the colony, it is a project. But if we look at it in a different manner, if we say that if the construction of colony is not the target, it is rehabilitation of the people, or to providing accommodation to 500 families in this area. This could be the benefit achieved through the program. Then program will decide how this area has to be developed and how many projects will be there inside it. But if you specify that a colony of this dimension is to be created, then this is a mega project. This is not a program. A very large project may be referred to as a mega project. As a guideline, mega project cost US dollar 1 billion or more, affect 1 million or more people, and run for years. This is just a heuristic. This is not actual figures, but this is kind of a guideline kind of a figure. Some organizations may employ the use of a project portfolio to effectively manage multiple programs and projects that are underway at any given time. So, what is a portfolio? Is defined as projects. It includes projects, it includes programs, and it also includes sub-portfolios, subsidiary portfolios. Maybe your portfolio of your organization has been subdivided into 4 portfolios: the IT portfolio, IT and the engineering portfolio, mechanical portfolio, and something else. So what you have categorized your portfolio into 4 parts, and you started calling them sub portfolios. And under each sub portfolio, there were related projects and programs. Related, I mean the projects and programs from the same category, not exactly the relation like in the program. They are from the same category. They are all construction projects. So all the construction projects may not be related, but they may be using same kind of resources. That is the relationship. Otherwise, programs have a focused approach where all the projects within the program are working towards the objective of the program. So these are all of these things: projects, programs, subsidiary portfolios, and some portfolio operations. These are managed as a group to achieve strategic objectives of the organization. So portfolio has its own strategic objectives. These strategic objectives are financial in nature, because portfolio keeps an account of all the projects and programs and their funding and all that. So these strategic objectives under which the portfolio is running, these are of financial nature. Whereas the strategic objectives of the program and the projects are aligned with the organizational strategy. Program management and portfolio management differ from project management in their life cycle. They have different life cycles. They have different kinds of activities, different kinds of objectives, focus, and benefits. However, portfolios, programs, and projects and operations often engage with the same stakeholders. You may have same people connecting with the projects and programs and portfolios. Maybe you have the same customer. This is the customer of the portfolio. This is the customer of the program. This is the same customer of the project, and maybe your operational work also. This is the same customer, and may need to use the same resources, which may result in a conflict in the organization. This type of situation increases the need for coordination within the organization, though the use of portfolio, program, and project management to achieve a workable balance in the organization. So this has to be properly sorted out, that if there is a hierarchy, the same stakeholders are being connected with the project and program and portfolio, then you have to properly define what kind of stakeholder will be handled where and up to what extent. I'll be showing you a diagram later that will illustrate a sample portfolio structure indicating relationship with programs, projects, and shared resources and stakeholders, etc. The portfolio components are grouped together in order to facilitate the effective governance of management of the work that helps to achieve organizational strategies and priorities. So we'll talk about a little bit about the governance also. As the level increases, as we move up from project to program to portfolio, the governance needs increase. So the detail is down at the project level, and when we move up, we need to have some governance mechanism under which, some policy under which we will be planning our things. Organizational and portfolio planning impact the components by means of prioritization based on risk, funding, and other considerations. So portfolio may decide to, if a project is too risky or it is lower in prioritization, it may be closed down. Uh, Funding is limited, projects may be affected by that. जी सुफियान
हेलो सर, कैन यू हियर मी?
जी जी बिल्कुल
सर, मैंने ये पूछना था कि प्रीवियस स्लाइड पे तक लिखा हुआ था कि प्रोग्राम मैनेजमेंट और इसमें प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट में डिफरेंस है। सर, ये इस पॉइंट के ऊपर थोड़ा सा बताएं कि थोड़ा डिटेल कीजिए, थोड़ी सी कंफ्यूजन आ रही है।
Okay, tell me which slide? This slide?
Yes, sir. This slide, the first point. Program management and portfolio management differ from project management in their life cycles, activities, objectives, focus, and benefits.
Okay.
लाइफ साइकिल और एक्टिविटीज के हवाले से तो समझ में आ रहा है, ऑब्जेक्टिव, फोकस एंड बेनिफिट, इसमें थोड़ी कंफ्यूजन है, कैन यू थोड़ा सा उसको रिवाइज करें?
You see, we have got project objectives, we have got program objectives, we have got portfolio objectives. Everything has its own objectives. Program objectives are aligned with the organization. Everything is aligned with the organization. Your project is aligned with the organization objective. Your program is aligned with the organization objective. Your portfolio is also aligned with the organizational strategic objectives. But if the project is part of the program, then this project has to be aligned with the program objectives, and the program will be aligned with the organizational objectives. This is the natural hierarchy of that. Now, if you are running a project, you have got a different kind of life cycle, and the activities of the project are more detailed in nature. The objective of the project is to create the deliverable, right? It is not to yield the outcome or the benefit realization. Program has a different objective. Program has to realize the benefit. Portfolio has to balance the financial system of funding, and prioritize the resources and projects. So their focus is different, their level of benefits are different. I said many times that it is not that projects do not deliver benefits. Projects do have benefit realization, they do have outcomes, but they don't fall in the responsibility of the project manager. But once the project has delivered the product, the output, that output will ultimately be yielding the outcome or the benefits in long run, and someone else will be taking the responsibility. So the objectives of focus and the benefits of the project are differently managed than the program management and the portfolio management. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. बिल्कुल
Okay.
काफी क्लियर हो गया है। सर, प्रोग्राम, इसका मतलब है कि प्रोग्राम पे फोकस कर रहा है, वो आउटकम्स के ऊपर फोकस कर रहा है, लॉन्ग टर्म।
जी एग्जैक्टली, यू गॉट द पॉइंट। प्रोग्राम आउटकम्स पे फोकस कर रहा है, प्रोजेक्ट आउटपुट पे फोकस कर रहा है, और इन पीएमआई लैंग्वेज आउटपुट इज कॉल्ड डिलीवरेबल या प्रोडक्ट सर्विस और रिजल्ट, और आउटकम इज कॉल्ड बेनिफिट रियलाइजेशन।
थैंक यू।
मोस्ट वेलकम। Okay, let's move on. This is the diagram I was talking about. You could have, you always would have a portfolio on top, whether, as I said, whether you are managing it or not, it is existing. So better you start managing it if you have got a complex mechanism and you want to have a governance mechanism over all the change related initiatives. These are all the change related initiatives are within this box. So you have got a portfolio which could have sub portfolios like portfolio A. So this portfolio had a sub portfolio, portfolio A. Now a portfolio can have, look at the extreme left, a portfolio can have a standalone project 1 directly linked to the portfolio, or it could have programs like program A and B directly under the portfolio, or portfolio can have a sub-portfolio like portfolio A, or also a portfolio could be directly having its own operations. Now, let's look at our program. Our program, like program A, has a number of projects, project 2 and project 3. It is also possible that a program can have project 6 as well as a sub-program under it, which further has project 4 and project 5. This can also be a possibility. We are talking about portfolio A. Portfolio A is the sub-portfolio under the main portfolio, and it may have some projects like project 7 directly, standalone project directly answering to this sub-portfolio A, but this can have program C under it. The program C may have some projects like project 8 and project 9 reporting to the program, as well as some operations of the program. So all of these things, all of these projects underneath and the operations are consuming some kind of resources, and they all have the shared stakeholders. So the stakeholders and resource pool is same, right? So this all is governed by an organizational strategy, and this organizational strategy is being applied to the change related initiative. This whole thing shown to you, portfolio, program, project and operation, this is a change related initiative. And organizational strategy, whatever the direction of organizational strategy is, whole of this thing is being governed by that. If organization changes its strategy, then the portfolio is the first to notice, and portfolio will realign all its components according to the new strategy, and that may tantamount to killing some projects or programs and giving birth to new projects or programs according to the latest strategy of the organization. Okay, are you with me? Right. Wonderful, wonderful. Looking at project, program, and portfolio management from an organizational perspective, program and project management focus on doing programs and projects the right way. Programs and projects, they are focusing on doing the programs and projects the right way. They're just concerned about themselves. We should do the things right. That's it. Whereas portfolio management focuses on doing the right programs and projects. The selection which program or which project will be done is actually made by the portfolio management, and naturally it has got its own decision making. It all depends upon the funding available to it. Okay, this chart is given in PMBOK. I am not going to go through it, but I am just indicating it to you. This chart amply makes it clear the difference between projects, programs, and portfolios. This is the whole organizational project management scenario, and from various capacities, from the definition, scope, change, planning, management, monitoring, and success, you can see the definition, the differences between the project, program, and portfolio. I'll just explain one of them, like definition. The definition of project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. That's exactly what we have studied. Project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Whereas a program is a group of related projects. So this is different. This is a group of related projects, subsidiary programs, or program activities that are managed in a coordinated manner to obtain benefits not available from managing them individually. So this is much larger. This is focusing on the benefits, whereas the project is just focusing on the deliverable, which is product, service, or result. Here you don't see any mention of the product. In programs, we obtain the benefits, or in some ways you can call it to obtain the benefits and control not available from managing them individually. Whereas the portfolio is a collection of project, programs, and subsidiary portfolios, and even operations managed as a group to achieve strategic objectives. It does not mention what strategic objectives, but those strategic objectives are investment related, funding related, prioritization. Let's look at the second one also. Scope. Project has a defined objectives. Project has its own defined objective. The scope of the project can be progressively elaborated throughout the life of the project. The scope of the project can change, can be elaborated further throughout the life of the project, but naturally we would like the scope to remain same, as if we don't have to change many things in the project. But naturally project is uncertain and things will keep changing throughout the life of the project. Programs have a scope also, but that encompasses the scopes of its program components. So the program scope is actually the scope of all of its components put together. Programs produce benefit of an organization to an organization by ensuring that the outputs and outcomes of the program components are delivered in a coordinated and complementary manner. So the delivery of benefits is the responsibility of the program, whether this has to be coordinated and unified or it has to be released throughout the life of the program. Programs are going to be a longer life things. Portfolios have an organizational scope that changes with the strategic objectives of the organization. As I said before, if the organization changes its direction, portfolio will change its direction and reorganize all the projects and programs within the portfolio. You want me to go on with this, or you can read it through yourself? I strongly suggest that you read through these things in your own time, and this will make the things amply clear to you. जी सुफियान.
सर ये स्लाइड्स जो आप कह रहे हैं उससे रीड करना है बुक से, तो जो मटेरियल प्रोवाइड किया गया था ईमेल के थ्रू, तो उसको हम गो थ्रू करते रहते हैं. ये स्लाइड्स का सर मैं पूछना चाह रहा था, ये कहाँ से?
ये स्लाइड भी आपको मिल जाएंगी, स्लाइड भी मिल जाएंगी, लेकिन ये किताब ही में है सब कुछ. ये पीएमबीओ के ही का है सब कुछ. आप पीएमबीओ के 6th एडिशन है ना आपके पास?
जी सर.
उसमें ये डायग्राम है, ये बल्कि लिखा हुआ है टेबल 1-2. But I will provide you all the slides. I will provide you all the recordings also.
ओके सर.
तो थोड़ा टाइम का प्रॉब्लम होता है मुझे, क्योंकि अभी आप जब ये खत्म करेंगे हम लेक्चर, तो पूरी रात बैठा हुआ ये प्रोसेस करता रहेगा इसकी वीडियो को, और अगले दिन मुझे टाइम नहीं मिलता फिर अपलोड करने का. वो मैं किसी दिन बैठ के सारा कुछ अपलोड कर दूंगा और फिर आपको एक्सेस मिल जाएगी. राइट जी. So program management is defined as the application of knowledge, skills and principles to a program to achieve the program objectives and to obtain benefits and control not available by managing program components. Usually, almost the same definition as we had in the program. Program components, we also understand program components are the projects, the sub-programs, or any operational activity going within it. Program, let us move on. Portfolio is defined as a project, program, subsidiary portfolio or operation managed as a group to achieve strategic objectives. We have talked about it. Portfolio management is defined as a centralized management of one or more portfolios to achieve strategic objectives. The programs or projects of the portfolio may not necessarily be interdependent or directly related. It is not necessary that they are interconnected or interrelated. But the only thing common in a portfolio is the major categorization is the same. Okay, let me move on. You can read through these some of these things. Let me explain operations and project management to you. Right. Operations management. Operation management is an area that is outside the scope of formal project management. Therefore, this will not be covered here, but we are describing it here a bit. Operation management is concerned with the ongoing production of goods or services. It ensures that business operation continues efficiently by using the optimal resources needed to meet customer demands. It is concerned with managing processes that transform inputs into outputs. You see, I am not trying to give less value to operations and more value to projects, but basically, operations are the lifeblood of the organization. An organization can survive without projects, but it cannot survive a single moment without operations. Operation, if closed, if you want to bring any change in the organization and say, okay, because there is something wrong, so let us stop the operations right here. If you stop the operations, your organization will not earn any benefit, any profits, and ultimately your people will not be paid, and your organization will come to a standstill, which is a disaster. We don't want that. So what we need is, we need the operations to continue in whatever mechanism they are running, while we experiment on the change-oriented initiatives. We run a project to see if some change can be brought and some betterment can be brought into the system. And if that experiment is successful, then it is inducted into the operation. That is the relationship between operation and the project. But operation in itself is the most important thing. It cannot be stopped. It is the lifeblood of the organization. But then the next question is, can we live without projects? Yes, of course we can live without projects. We can live without change. But for how long? We cannot, we will not die immediately. But the organization will die over time because they are not progressing. They are not bringing change into the organization. The systems are not being changing. So therefore, it is necessary that we should also pay due attention towards the organizational project management and change management. Okay, organizational project management, yes. So what is organizational project management? Let me describe that. We already know and understand. Just a moment. Okay. Portfolios, programs, and projects, these are all the change-related initiatives. If they are put together in one place, that is called organizational project management. They are aligned with the organizational strategic business goals, can be achieved through systematic management of portfolios, programs, and projects through the application of organizational project management. So, organizational project management is basically a combination of all the projects, how to manage the projects and programs and portfolios. This put together is called organizational project management. Is defined as a framework in which portfolio, program, and project management are integrated with organizational enablers. This is the fourth part: project, program, portfolio, and the fourth thing which binds them all together, integrates them, is called organizational enablers in order to achieve strategic objectives. The purpose of organizational project management is to ensure that organization undertakes the right projects and allocates critical resources appropriately. Basically, portfolio is doing that, but OPM is the overall in charge integrator of all of this. So this will ensure that only the right projects are selected which are beneficial for the organization. OPM also helps to ensure that all levels in the organization understand the strategic vision, the initiatives that support the vision and objectives and deliverables. Let us look at this diagram. This is organizational project management and strategic objectives. In the organizational environment, we have the strategy which is impacting the portfolio, which is going to deliver the value, and decisions are taken. Under the portfolio, we have the projects and programs which deliver the results, and business impact is taken on to portfolio, and portfolio will then decide what else to do with the next initiative. And the output of the program goes to the operation in shape of business value, and that realization affects the strategy. And again, this cycle continues on, and this is how organizational project management is related with the organizational strategy. Okay, I think we have consumed all our time today. So let me start tomorrow from this point on. Do remind me, we are at the 1.2.4. So from here onwards, we will be studying tomorrow. If there are any questions, please raise hands. No questions? Okay, then thank you very much for your patience and listening to me, all that. And maybe there are some disconnections in between due to some internet problems. I'm sorry for that, but today was better than yesterday. Yesterday we had a disconnection of over 20 to 30 minutes. Today it was very short. So let us see you all tomorrow, same time, and take care. Khuda Hafiz.